Hey, it's Dave. I thought I'd do something a little out of the norm. I don't normally do video. I normally just post photos. I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while, about toys just for children. A lot of what we like as adults, as adult collectors, feels inspired by what we loved as kids, by nostalgia, but it doesn't actually recapture it anymore. In making it perfect, enhanced sculpts, better posability, more points of articulation, flawless packaging. Everybody even wants the shippers that things arrive in to be perfect. An awful lot's lost in translation. Now, when I was a kid, I was a massive fan of things like Masters of the Universe, Mask, Transformers, G.I. Joe. One brand that I've found that seems to be actually tapping that vein better than the likes of a Ramen toy or Hasbro is actually Chapmay. Now, Chapmay are known for making very cheap children's toys. They don't make things that are supposed to be for collectors. And that's a good thing, in that you actually find a little more of the purity of what we had as children, but actually at incredible value. Now, this isn't really supposed to be a review, but what you see in front of you is things that we won. My son actually entered competitions with Chapmay, colouring in contests. He had to colour in a picture. We designed a toy together. And he won this selection that you see in front of you here on over a couple of occasions. And we couldn't get any more. And he loved it. They're great. They've got fantastic posability for what they are, which is very cheap toys. We couldn't find any more. The legs even pop on and off on a ball joint. So, that is great for kids because they're not fragile. You can pop the leg off, you can pop it back on. That's a good thing. You can see my son's just giving him a random blaster. I don't know what that's from. But, yeah, these things are really cool for very little money. Sound effects. And, you get motion too. Try not to knock over my janky little booth that I've made on the fly here. What I'm just saying is they are fantastic value for what you get. And as a child, really, when I picked up something like Mask, you pick up a figure from Mask like Bruce Sato, Matt Tracker, Miles Mayhem. They weren't immaculate. The paint apps weren't perfect. The posability was not great. So what you did was you appreciated what you had in front of you. You just enjoyed it and you used your imagination to flesh the rest of it out. With Mask, there was minor details like, Thunderhawk had a seatbelt, a very big rubbery seatbelt. But that's just one brand. There's G.I. Joe and things like that as well. Again, very strange looking sculpts. You picked up some of the female characters in particular, and you could tell that they were struggling to, make the female form in the G.I. Joe O-ring fashion. The detail wasn't great. The accessories were often just one colour, but we had amazing times with them. And that, to me, feels like something that is kind of been lost, apart from with the kind of toys that Chapmay put out. Now, most recently, they've put out this brand, Acid, which was what we entered the competition about. We couldn't get hold of it anywhere else. We messaged them on Instagram, on Facebook, things like that, said, when are you going to supply to the UK? And many other people were saying, where can I get these in the USA? Which is really unusual to me. No idea where we could get any more. So we just sort of felt like this would be it. This would all be all he'd ever get. which is fine. Sometimes things just are what they are and they stop there, you know. And again, that's in the spirit of things, not being a completist, not being an adult collector. As a kid, you know, you should be able to let these things go and move on. Until I went to the UK supermarket Asda, my local one, and I found this. Now, as you can see, it doesn't say acid on it, but this is clearly one of the acid line of toys. It's been repackaged and obviously is now being distributed in the Dynaforce brand by Asda and their subsidiary George that handles all of their non-food items usually. So this is going to go away for my son for Christmas. This thing, you've got an action figure in the box, you know. I'm not going to count the points of articulation for you, but, you know, you guys sprechen the lingo better than me. Twist at the wrist, elbow, shoulder, neck, knee, hips, no ankle. Comes with a whole rack of weaponry, plus mix and match weapons that can be plugged into ports on the vehicle, which also transforms. It transforms into a patrol bot. 3+ years. There it is, where it's to come out of the box. And I appreciate the box is not in great shape. Who cares? It's going to go in the recycling. Gear up. £4. This thing just cost £4. Now, back when I was a kid in the 80s, if I wanted the latest G.I. Joe vehicle, what would I have been looking at paying? If it was a small vehicle, probably about £5. If it was something bigger, you know, it's like the Ore Striker, I think, if memory serves, that thing was going for around about £15 when I was a kid in the 80s. This thing just cost me £4. Change from a fiver, guys. That is pretty impressive. Now, if, like myself, you're an old school Mask, G.I. Joe, Transformers fan, yeah, stickers, you know, those aren't paint apps, those are stickers. Wheels, hollow plastic. You know, it is not an immaculate thing. But is it something that is ideal for children and for their imagination and at a sensible price point that they can afford or that parents can afford to get for them? It just feels like the adult collector market has kind of taken over. It literally has taken over to a degree where simple fun, simple role play, use of imagination and things like that have just been cast aside, left at the wayside. It's all about bigger, better. Now, I can imagine on Instagram, on Facebook, a lot of the people who were asking for these things, judging by the results of the colouring in competition, were clearly adult collectors. And I think I know what they were seeing here. You know, this is basically 3 3/4 G.I. Joe. You know, you can customize these things, you can change them, you can modify them. You could clearly turn this into a support vehicle for G.I. Joe, things like that, very, very economically, very, very easily. But again, that isn't really the point of this. This is supposed to fall into the hands of children, for children to have fun, you know, for children to make memories like I did playing Smashy Smashy Bang Bang in the back garden with my Mask vehicles and stuff. You know, that they were far from perfect by the time that they eventually ended up getting sold on for pennies. This, to me, is the spirit of play. You know, that is a sensible price. That is more than your money's worth. I think that this is a great thing that they're doing, and I hope that such things can continue to find the way into the hands of children at sensible prices. And I just wanted to kind of make a video just to sort of pat Chat May on the back, and Asda too, you know, for making these things available over here for children. They shouldn't have to, you know, be dependent on the system of a Netflix cartoon pushing an entire new series made by Mattel or Hasbro, transforming that into something far beyond the spirit of play before it eventually arrives at the maximum price point they can possibly charge all across retail. You know, sometimes I think that kids are just better off without all of that. And this, you know, very simple story world, there's comics online, stuff like that. Make it up yourself, you know, humans versus robots, go play. I feel that that is a step in the right direction for children's toys. Those are my thoughts. Have a great day.